Welcome to Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live. My name is Kevin Gray, host of the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live show. Again, my name is Kevin Gray, host of the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live show. Oh, we're totally live. No, again, my name is Kevin Gray, host of the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live show, live on the Sports Radio America Network, doing our late night fireside sports chat. This is our very first video as I toss my iPad around. Our very first late night video on the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live show. My name is Kevin Gray, host of Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live every Monday and Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Sports Radio America Network, available on TuneIn Radio and the TuneIn app. Just want to throw up a quick video. This is our first time doing this live stream on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who supports the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live. Again, we are live every Monday and Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Sports Radio America Network. We are available on podcast form, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, anywhere you find your podcast for free. Just search the words Clutch Talk Sports Radio, and you can find our podcast there. We have been doing our podcast for almost 5 years. We've been doing our live show for almost the last 2 years. It'll be 2 years in November, and we are part of the X Squad Affiliate Podcasting Network and the X Squad Radio Network. And as you can see behind me, Sports Radio America for the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live show. So again, my name is Kevin Gray, host of Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live every Monday and Friday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Sports Radio America Network. It is preseason week 1 of the NFL. NFL teams getting into action as preseason starts across the National Football League. All 32 teams will be in action by the time the end of the weekend is over with, including the Dallas Cowboys. I am located in Dallas, Texas. So, of course, the big news down here, of course, is everything that goes on with the Dallas Cowboys with respect to Zeke, Elliott, which we'll get into here in just a little bit. But, again, all 32 NFL teams will be in action by the time the weekend is over with. Preseason action already getting started tonight. Your man Kyler Murray, 6 for 6, playing for the Arizona Cardinals on his opening drive as they take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Daniel Jones was in action for the New York Football Giants. So early scores as we look at them: the Bills 24-16 over the Colts, the Giants 31-22 as the aforementioned Giants we talked about before. The Cleveland Browns 30-10 over Washington. Dwayne Haskins did not look great in his first outing in the National Football League. The Patriots get a 31-3 win over the Detroit Lions and Matt Patricia. The Miami Dolphins 34-27 over the Atlanta Falcons, who are already 0-2 in the preseason as they played their first preseason game, of course, in the Hall of Fame game against the Denver Broncos last week. The Baltimore Ravens win 29-0, and the Carolina Panthers win 23-13, and the Green Bay Packers win 28-26 over the Houston Texans. So teams getting started across the National Football League with respect to their preseason NFL action getting started all across the National Football League. But, of course, the big news down here in Dallas is the holdout of one Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott still holding out at this point for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys open up their preseason action this weekend in San Francisco. That will be without Ezekiel Elliott, who is still looking for a brand new contract. Ezekiel Elliott looking to become one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid running back in the National Football League. So for a guy in Ezekiel Elliott, this is an important time for him, obviously, as he continues to put himself in position to try and get paid. Obviously, for the Dallas Cowboys and for Ezekiel Elliott, this is a very tenuous situation with respect to how they move forward with the Dallas Cowboys as far as Ezekiel Elliott is concerned. So if you're the Cowboys, obviously, look, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones want to keep themselves in position to be able to pay Dak Prescott, to be able to pay Amari Cooper. Dak Prescott could be a $30 million quarterback. You trade Amari Cooper for a first-round pick from the Oakland Raiders. You've got to get him and pay him because obviously you showed how much he was worth to you by giving up a first-round pick in order to bring Amari Cooper in. You still got to think about guys like Leighton Vander Esch. You still got to think about guys like Jalen Smith, Byron Jones down the road for the Dallas Cowboys. So if you're Stephen Jones, who's talked about it earlier this week, that the idea of Ezekiel Elliott, they've made a very generous offer, if you will, whatever that means. I don't like the word generous being used by Stephen Jones in this particular case because it's not like it's a charity to give Ezekiel Elliott one of the best contracts in the NFL for a running back. Stephen Jones talking about the idea that the market was reset with Le'Veon Bell and not necessarily Todd Gurley. Le'Veon Bell, of course, signed for $13.5 million per season on average for the New York Football Jets. Todd Gurley getting about $14-15 million for the Los Angeles Rams. We're seeing how that's working out. Todd Gurley in denial about the arthritic knee that he's got with the Los Angeles Rams. And, of course, Le'Veon Bell, who sat out all of last year, coming back this year for the New York Football Jets. For Ezekiel Elliott in his situation, look, Ezekiel Elliott understands the value that he brings to the Dallas Cowboys as a football player on this team. He's the best player on this team by far. He's the best offensive player that the Dallas Cowboys have, and his value is not derived from what they bring to him. His value is derived from what he brings to the rest of the football team. He would have been the rushing champion for the first three of his seasons if Roger Goodell hadn't suspended him for the 6 games that he did in 2017. If Ezekiel Elliott, who had 983 yards during that season, is on the field for those 6 games in which the Dallas Cowboys went 3-3 during that time, we're talking about a 3-time rushing champion in his first 3 seasons in the National Football League. Unheard of for a running back. Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best blocking backs in the NFL. He's one of the best catching backs out of the backfield. He does everything at an elite level. There isn't a weakness in Ezekiel Elliott's game. So for the Dallas Cowboys to put themselves in position to be in a spot where they're trying to not necessarily give Elliott what he thinks he deserves, and there's an opportunity for him to potentially miss games if this continues to move forward, the Dallas Cowboys have got a serious decision to try and make. They tried to switch the narrative. They tried to put the onus on Ezekiel Elliott, trying to say, look, Zeke, we got to pay these other guys too. The Cowboys haven't had a player like this since Emmitt Smith. And what I mean by that, not necessarily just because how great they are as running backs, they've got a guy who knows what he's worth and he's going to do what he has to do to get what he's worth. And the Dallas Cowboys haven't had to deal with a lot of that for a long time with respect to their franchise. One of the things that Jerry and Stephen Jones values with the Dallas Cowboys is the idea of being a Dallas Cowboy. The fact that there's a star on the side of your helmet means that you are a valuable commodity in the NFL. That doesn't necessarily translate into dollar signs, especially when you're a running back who's been in the league now, going into his 4th season, who's been in a 2-time rushing champion, 300 touches last year, and who's being run into the ground right now by the Dallas Cowboys. Turn and burn running backs is a thing in the NFL. You get a guy in, get him in there for a few years, run him into the ground, and then you let him walk. Ezekiel Elliott understands what the Dallas Cowboys are trying to do. They're trying to get as much out of him before they potentially let him walk, even though he is under their control effectively for the next 4 seasons. You got 2 seasons under contract this year, and then the Dallas Cowboys could effectively franchise tag Ezekiel Elliott if the franchise tag rules are still in place 2 years in a row after that. So Ezekiel Elliott understands that the Dallas Cowboys got a lot of control over him, and the only leverage that he has, and if he's willing to exercise that leverage, is to miss games. I don't want to hear about the character issues with respect to Ezekiel Elliott. The Dallas Cowboys have been a franchise that have brought in questionable characters for years. You can see everyone all the way to recently with Greg Hardy. So the Dallas Cowboys have put themselves in a position where I don't think they have the leverage here. I think Ezekiel Elliott has the leverage. Zeke is the best running back in football. He's proven it for 3 years in a row when he's on the field. He's proven his value not only as the best offensive player, but one of the best players in terms of the NFL altogether. And more importantly, the Dallas Cowboys need him because this offense goes with Ezekiel Elliott. I know Dak Prescott continues to make progressions at the quarterback position, but at the same time, the offense goes as Zeke goes. And Stephen Jones even said it himself earlier this spring. Look, Ezekiel Elliott is the proverbial straw that stirs the drink, whether it be the comparison to Reggie Jackson, whatever the case may be. Ezekiel Elliott makes this thing go, and for him to not be there right now, especially with a new offensive coordinator, with Kellen Moore trying to get this team in position to do what they have to do, it's important for Zeke to be there, but also for Zeke, it's important for him to get his money and get what he feels like he deserves, and that is to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. He needs to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. The market should reset with Ezekiel Elliott being the highest paid running back in the NFL. Period. It's that simple. And if Jerry and Stephen Jones don't get it together soon, Ezekiel Elliott cannot be on the field for quite a long time. And that's a problem if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, knowing that the Cowboys play a first-place schedule this year, even though their first couple of games are winnable football games against the New York Giants and, of course, against Washington. But for now, Ezekiel Elliott is still not in camp. Who knows if he'll get into camp? Who knows how many games he'll continue to miss? But at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott are not on the same page. And until they get on the same page and get something done, who knows when Ezekiel Elliott will actually jump into camp. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, open up their preseason action this weekend against San Francisco. Again, if you like what you've heard here, there is more where this came from. We are live every Monday and Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Sports Radio America Network, TuneIn Radio, and the TuneIn app for Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live. The way that you can listen to Sports Radio America, you can download the TuneIn app. As you can see behind me, download the TuneIn app and then search Sports Radio America, lock it in as a favorite, and then listen every Monday and Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live with your man, Kevin Gray, host of the CT Sports Radio Live Show. We are all over social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at CT Sports Radio. Like and follow us on all social media platforms. And then also you can go to ClutchTalkSportsRadio.com. That's ClutchTalkSportsRadio.com, and you can find everything for our show there. We'll be doing this quite often on YouTube, live streaming, also throwing up videos so you can hear more about commentary across all the entire look. We talk everything across the entire sporting landscape. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NCAA, got college football coming up. We talk to UFC, we talk to WWE, we talk everything, all things sports. So if you want the best in sports, real clutch sports talk, check out your man Kevin Gray every Monday and Friday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Sports Radio America Network, and right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever we are, wherever social media is, you can find us there also. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get to just doing something else because I got to go. But again, my name is Kevin Gray, host of the Clutch Talk Sports Radio Live Show. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed this video.